Well, welcome back, guys. Once again, we're in another engine episode. I've noticed you guys are viewing quite a few of these, so I'm going to try to keep going with them because I don't want to leave you hanging with half your video finished. Last time I mentioned you're going to want to put your own bolts into here. Might have to change the sizes of them, so you give them a specific name maybe. We just name these bolt. Bolt. Maybe we'll name it a nut and bolt, something like that. Just something different when you do it. For later, when you're putting your engine together, you can give it a different size, a different name, whatever you got to do. You get the idea. I did mention last time I would show you how to make an actual bolt head because I realized I had round heads on the ends of these. Easily replaced if you want to redo the whole bolt. You're just going to have to match the bolt size, but we'll do that in just 1 minute. A few other things I wanted to mention. Naming things. It'd be a really good idea for you to name things if you can. If you need help, you can Google the name of the part that you're, well, I guess you can't Google it. You can look up the assembly of an engine and try to match up the part that you're trying to name. If you're having trouble, if this is your first engine game, maybe you don't know engines as just like me. But it'd just be a good idea to keep things named for when you're trying to import them, you know what's what, right? So we'll say this one is clutch. No, there's no clutch plate guard. We'll call it that. And don't copy my spelling because I'm a horrendous speller. I assume I probably spelled that wrong, but you get the idea. We'll name piece inside of here clutch. And you get the idea. You might want to just go through them and just kind of take a few minutes to name everything for everything's less confusing for you later. And this would be the clutch plate. You can copy my names, but just make sure you spell them correctly. Is that named? Yes, crankshaft. Alright, well you get the idea, and here we are. We're a little farther. Alright, make sure that's right in place. The next couple steps are it's gonna matter. Okay, because we're gonna do a drive shaft. And there's a couple things on this. I don't know if you guys want to work backwards and do the car frame. I have other car frame videos. Maybe you want your engine to tie in with your frame, in which case you're going to want to do it, build it to the back, and we'll go ahead and maybe we'll start that. And if you're not doing that, if you're just putting in like a mock engine for you have something to see, then maybe skip ahead to the next video. I'm going to go ahead and work to the back of the car, and we'll try to put in the back axle and figure out some of the stuff in there maybe. And then maybe in the next video we'll try to get back to the front of the car, and we'll do some more parts up here, maybe the exhaust manifold or the intake manifold. They're going to be a little more difficult because I'm just going to use basic shapes to make these things. And I'm just making you a basic model for you can get an idea for you can make it your own way a little better because you're going to want your game to look perfect, right? Coloring is going to be another really big thing on this, unless you're just going to make your whole engine silver, which is fine. Again, it kind of depends what you're going for, what your look is, what your game is. So I'm just going to go ahead and Shift A. We'll pull out another cylinder because you love cylinders and squares so much. And we will go ahead and we'll turn this to a 90. So here we do a 90. Gonna have to go up a little bit, in a little bit. Get the idea. Try to match it up as best as we can. Take your time, pause the video if you need to make sure you got it perfect. That looks pretty perfect to me. Alright, so I'm going to go with that, and an S to make it bigger. Try to, and as you try to match the size, you can see if you're out of line a little bit. It's not going to be perfect because the other shape is not a perfect circle. It's pretty close, but it's not a perfect circle. So just do your best, like that. Looking good. Maybe we want to shrink this down actually. So we're going to do a little trickery here again. As you know, with Lordfish, it's always trickery. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm making a spot for maybe you're able to put a small bolt through here. And this could be your mounting plate basically from your drive shaft to your transmission to keep the momentum going to the back end. On the inside of a transmission, there would be gears and then an arm that basically kept the rotation of the gears that ran to what would now be your drive shaft to just spin your drive shaft, and this part would free spin with it. So if you're doing a really realistic game, you're going to want your drive shaft to actually spin. So, sorry, wrong button. I'm going to flip to edit mode. And we're going to grab faces. I'm on the wrong piece, I think. There we go. Grab that face. I'm going to go in. We're going to hit E once you're happy with the size. And remember to leave that lip there, for we can put some screws there if we want. We can even extend this a little bit if we want. Maybe maybe you need a little bit more room. Just go ahead and go back. Hit I again. Go in farther. Give yourself more room. No big deal. Hit E. I don't know how long our drive shaft's going to be, so we're just going to do a couple connection points like that. I'm just going to kind of estimate where I feel like the back of the car would be. And we're probably going to just want to go a few more steps like this. And then this. And why we did that is for we can make a mounting plate on the back. Maybe we want it to be flat. Just move that in. Flat. Flat mounting plate. Give this a little bit of depth again, so we'll just E one more time and stop. We've made a drive shaft. We made a rear drive shaft. If you need to extend that, you can undo it a few times. Maybe we'll do that and make it a little bigger. Let's go S right here like that. It's more like the other one now. Alright, should have enough room. Next, we're probably going to have to kick a differential into the back end to make a connection to our axle. So, again, these things will probably have to be sized a little bit to make everything fit to your car frame, but we'll just go along with it as far as we can and see what we have to adjust to make it work. You can go with me. But there's going to be a lot of this to make everything fit perfectly. If you want a perfectly square running engine, it's not going to be easy. It's going to take some work and some sizing, guys. And maybe you have a better way of doing it. You know, if you think you have a better way, tell me. I'd love to hear. Like, we're all here to learn. I know I'm not perfect, and I know I got lots to learn in Blender still too. Alright, I'm just going to shrink this down, because we are making another plate to connect to, right? We got to connect all these if that's the type of game you're making. So, I'm just going to size it up a little bit, move it in. As you can see, it's out of line. So, just have a look at it and just make sure that yours is going to be alright where it is and make sure it's not out of place. It's kind of hard to see from over here, but it looks like it's pretty much in place. Alright. Okay, I think we're good. So, as long as you're close enough that way, we're going to go into edit mode again. Hit I. Because we want to give that enough room to put some screws through to connect to the next one, right? I keep saying screws, but I mean bolts, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. Sorry there, I bumped my mic. I apologize again. So we're just going to do that. Do one more. S. And I'm just doing some extensions and then some sizings. And S is the size, and E is for extension. A few more. Something like that. And then we are going to have to figure out how that connects into our rear axle. You guys are starting to get it. You start to see where we're going with all this. And if you need to adjust something, you can adjust this a little smaller. Say it's getting too long for the vehicle look you're looking for. Something like that. Just bump them up until you're happy. Until you think it's about the right size. Maybe this is a little too long. Tighten it up. Make it look more like a drive shaft. So the issue we're going to have with this is two things. If you're going to actually punch this into your back differential, we're going to have to make some kind of gear shape for it makes an actual connection where it would actually keep the spinning momentum, and then it would transfer it through the rear wheels to either side. Now, I already showed you how to make that clutch plate and how to cut that clutch plate out of your transmission in the last video. So if you were going to do this, you would probably want to use the same method. I could redo the whole piece, but I'm not going to do that. It's going to take a long time, and I'm just not up for it in this video. Half of you will be mad at me for taking so long, and the other half will be mad I didn't do it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to our clutch plate, hit Shift D, and we'll see if we can steal this piece to reuse, for we don't have to make a new one. And then everybody's happy, hopefully. So we'll scale it down until it works into our differential, right? Let's make it a little thicker. Alright. Sink it in a lot. Shift D. We're going to copy this because our other back axle, where it connects here, this is going to be on the outside of the piece to make our connection. But first, we'll bool that from there. So now you have your connection to your back end. And again, you may have to make a few minor adjustments. Actually, let's go back on that. Let's just come with me here because I've made a mistake. I don't want to lose you guys or missteer you in any way. The mistake I have made is not giving this a way to connect to the back end. You're always going to have a reason or a way that connects back there. And what I'm going to do is cheat, do that, and then we're going to hit Control. My control is just jammed. Too many things getting jammed in my keyboard. Alright, Control, Control, all the way around the circle. Oh, see, I went too far there. Let's just undo that last move. If you try to go too far on it, sometimes it'll take a shortcut across the middle, basically, and highlight everything you don't want. And we're just going to go E. Bring it out just a hair, and then S. And we have our way to mount our piece. Perfect. It's going to leave a little lip in there, but that's going to be fine. Maybe we'll go a hair thicker on this. Destroy this one, because we want it to be around the same size piece that we replace it with, right? So move this in. Till you're happy. You can see when the edges are getting real close. Leave it like that, because there's a little bit of a taper on this inner edge. Shift D. Like that. Maybe just make this one a hair smaller, like that. So now we're going to bool that piece, now that we've done it correctly, and we have our connection to our back end. Now maybe you want to do it slightly different. That's completely fine again. But we're just making it this way because this is the way it's going to work for us. Now if you don't want that piece in the middle, it's easy enough. Maybe you want that to be basically on the other side. So what we're going to do is we will pull out another cylinder, wind it back. Normally I would just bury this and not even think about it, but I know you guys are watching and I don't want to steer you wrong or leave a mistake. So as best as you can, because there's going to be a little bit of mistakes in here. Best as you can, just do that. And bool that from the piece as well. Gone. Okay? Perfect. This piece has to be attached to the other piece, so we're going to have to figure that out next. Okay? Okay. Maybe, I don't know how far we in. I never watched the clock. I just kind of wing it, freestyle it. Should we keep going? Maybe I'll keep going a little bit. Alright. Hate to ramble on, folks, but I'm not giving you a break. In between the next one, you can go get yourself a nice tea and relax your nerves, because I'm sure if you're following along and your nerves are just pumping and you're going too fast, you're going too slow. Please explain that better, Mr. Lordfish. I just changed the axis to that one on the middle one to make it go sideways. I just want you guys to know too that being nervous is really normal. This is a lot of stuff that you're learning in a really short period of time. So to be nervous is super normal. Don't worry, you got this. Alright? Just thought I should include that. Shift D to copy that. And again, if you don't like my method, come up with your own, but this is how I'm going to do it. S. Shrink that down. Looks like that, kind of, okay? And I don't know on the width of the axle. I'm just kind of guessing. Gonna have to be a little bit guesswork in here. You may have to do it over because your guess was off, but you're just gonna have to go with it and try it. So what I'm gonna do is take this near the back of this. Probably thinking, well, that doesn't seem right. Expand this just a little bit more. Oh, you know what we'll do? This might look better. Sorry about this, guys. I just changed nothing. There we go. Alright, let's do it this way. It's already too big, so let's make this the same size. No. Let's make it bigger like that. Okay, let's shrink her down this way. We'll do some trickery. Let's make it super thin. So it'll be a lip to mount that other plate to, because we got to start with a mounting spot, as you know. You know the secrets of the fish. You know that's how it's going to have to be. Alright, let's get to our face. Grab our face, just our face. And let's, after our attachment lip, E. E again. Sorry, I'm just taking time to think about this and make sure we're doing this in a way that's going to make more sense than another way. Okay, something like that. E. Let's do that. Let's stop there. Okay. You're probably wondering where I'm going with this, but we're just going to make it look like it does all the work for us inside of this piece here, inside of our back axle, basically. And again, we're going to have to mount this. There's two things we could do. Let's do this first. Let's just do this. Take it in like that. Widen it out like the other one was. Okay. Just a little bit, maybe. Just a little bit. Just to give it a little bit of a look like there's some gear action happening there. Okay. You're good. And then we're going to take this piece. You see how it left that little lip there with the little hole? And we're going to do that. And when you're happy with the position, depending how much you want it to stick out, we're going to click the back one, and we're going to hit Control J. We're going to join them. Alright, perfect. And then maybe we will do it again. Where do you want your move point to be? Do you want it to be here, or do you want it to be here? You decide. Make it the last thing you click. Control J. Alright guys, we have completely built. Oops. I'm gonna have to move those one at a time apparently. Our car all the way to its back axle. And I think we've done one heck of a job. We've made it look pretty good. We've found some creative solutions to make it look pretty good, and I hope yours looks even better. If you'd like to tell me about it, tell me about what you've made in your comments. I'd love to hear about it. If you have a better way, I'd love to hear about that. If you have any ideas, let me know what you need. Make sure you thumbs up, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, guys. Also, Fishton, Town to Remember, available on Steam. It's a game I made. I actually sing the theme song at the beginning, so that's pretty interesting. If you guys want to support me, you're welcome to grab that. It's the only way to really support me right now. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, keep on watching, guys. Check out my channel. Alright, I'll see you in the next